Now we shift from basic compliance to full MiCA authorization. You'll see what it takes for a crypto business to be licensed in the EU, how governance and capital expectations work, and how these rules reshape products, disclosures, and day-to-day conduct. NovaX started with a classic VASP mindset. Get registered, do AML, and we're good. MiCA blows that up. Authorization now means proving you can run a safe, well-governed business end-to-end. We're talking board accountability, capital and prudential safeguards, documented risk management, and strict market conduct rules. Compliance stops being a formality and becomes a strategic redesign of how the firm operates. A key attraction of MiCA is the EU passport. With one authorization, a CASP like NovaX can serve customers across all 27 member states instead of stitching together a patchwork of national licenses. The trade-off is intensity. Authorization is hard to get and harder to keep. Regulators probe your business model, governance, systems, and culture, and they expect continuous, demonstrable compliance. Many VASPs think, we do AML and KYC, so we're fine. MiCA raises the bar far beyond that. It asks, do you hold real capital and liquidity buffers, not just rely on ad hoc funding? Is governance formal, with a fit and proper board and functioning committees? Are customers genuinely protected, and is risk managed enterprise-wide, across market, cyber, liquidity, and operations, not only financial crime? Think of the MiCA authorization file as constructing a building. First, the business plan is the blueprint. What services you'll offer, to whom, at what scale, and how you'll grow safely. Then you add structure, entities, org chart, and key roles. Next comes operational resilience, systems, outsourcing, and incident response. Finally, detailed service descriptions lock everything together into one coherent application. Strong crypto compliance starts with who runs the firm and how they're held to account. Regulators expect senior people to be trustworthy, experienced, and genuinely involved, not just names on paper. The board needs the right mix of skills and enough independence to challenge management. Clear, written responsibilities for the CEO, CRO, CCO, and MLRO prevent gaps. And formal committees provide a structured forum to question risk and compliance decisions. Prudential requirements are basically the survival tank of a VASP. Normal operating capital keeps day-to-day business running. On top of that, regulators demand minimum own funds, which increase with riskier services. Above that, you maintain liquidity buffers so sudden market stress doesn't sink you. Strong governance means constantly checking capital levels, stress testing scenarios, and planning how you'd raise funds before a crisis hits. Every decision NovaX or FinBridge makes should pass through 3 lines of defense. The business runs day-to-day activity and owns the risks it creates. Risk and compliance. Challenge those activities, set guardrails, and step in when incentives clash with safety. Internal audit then checks whether both layers really work in practice, closing gaps before regulators or criminals exploit them. Enterprise-wide risk management is the backbone that keeps NovaX and FinBridge safe as they scale. They need a shared risk language. Every issue must map to clear categories like market, liquidity, counterparty, operational, cyber, legal, and compliance. The board then sets risk appetite and limits, and an independent risk team challenges decisions. Finally, structured escalation ensures bad news travels fast instead of quietly staying buried. MiCA doesn't replace AML and the travel rule, it sits on top of them. Regulators assume your KYC, monitoring, and sanctions controls already work. What MiCA adds is the requirement to prove those controls are embedded in product governance, risk committees, and decision-making. You'll also need a clear map of your technology stack and vendors, and evidence that AML risk assessments directly shape business and product choices. Think of conduct as a timeline that runs over the entire customer relationship. Before the contract, NovaX and FinBridge must provide clear, balanced information on services, risks, and fees. Marketing then has to stay fair, clear, and non-misleading. During execution, orders are handled transparently and in the client's best interests. Afterward, customers receive ongoing, timely updates about important changes or incidents. When you let retail clients trade complex or leveraged products, regulators expect extra guardrails. You start by classifying which products are genuinely complex, then explain their risks in very concrete terms: worst-case losses, margin calls, forced liquidations. Next, you test whether clients actually understand those risks. And finally, you hard-code protections, leverage caps, tighter limits, and ongoing monitoring for vulnerable users. A strong complaints process is part of your compliance control framework. First, make it easy for customers to reach you and acknowledge issues quickly. Then apply a consistent documented investigation, so similar cases get similar treatment. Give clear outcomes and timelines, not vague promises. And don't stop at fixing the single case. Aggregate complaint data and feed it into risk and product decisions. Think of MiCA as the blueprint for a complete financial institution, not a checklist of crypto rules. At the bedrock, you've got prudential safeguards and capital that keep the firm standing in a storm. On top, solid governance and committees. Then AML, travel rule, and tech as the hidden systems. Risk management and the 3 lines of defense are your load-bearing walls, supporting fair conduct and strong consumer protection at the roof. MiCA isn't an add-on. It pulls AML, travel rule, and risk management into one integrated system that demands stronger governance, fit and proper leaders, and real prudential discipline. The practical next move is to run a MiCA gap analysis and map every service to CASP obligations.